The Jets nearly beat the Patriots. That would have knocked me out of this survivor pool, and I'm sure people around the country. Although, but the Jets, the Patriots finally score. Jets come back, have a chance to tie it up. Mark Sanchez sacked, fumbled. Patriots win that game 29-26.
Did you hear what Jim Nantz said after that game?
I did not.
You did not?
No.
He said twice that the Jets won.
Really?
Twice.
That's strange. Really?
Yeah.
What was that about? Did he explain it?
Let's go to it.
So that's really weird. I hope everything's okay with Jim Nantz, because that's a giant sort of brain evaporation that I had not expected, because he did it twice, right? He says at the beginning, the biggest upset of the day, the biggest underdog. No, here's what happened. The biggest favorite won. Oh my God, the biggest favorite won.
Wait. On the Benometer, is he hovering into Phil Simms territory with this one?
No, that's a mistake that Jim Nantz made.
Yeah.
Like, I got it. That's a mistake. I make those mistakes. Everybody in broadcasting makes those mistakes, especially when you're doing live. Phil Simms says dumb things. Phil Simms is a smart guy who dumbs himself down because he thinks that's what the audience wants. And he is deathly afraid to say anything even remotely contrary. Every decision every coach and official has ever made is defendable and understandable.
Can I get an example?
And when in doubt, punt, even if it's second down.
Can I get an example?
Here's the sign of what Phil says. Phil Simms, when he not long after getting the #1 job at CBS, he goes on Letterman, right? And Letterman has him like throw footballs out the window, and they're doing some fun stuff. And he says, well, you know, you're in this league, you're covering the AFC, there are great quarterbacks in the AFC. There's Dan Marino, there's John Elway, maybe Peyton was playing then. I don't remember exactly, I guess he wasn't. But, you know, it was back, so it's John Elway, Marino, Jim Kelly, right? There are all these great quarterbacks, and he's like, so who's the best? And Simms says, oh, well, I don't know, I work for the NFL now, I can't say. And he's like, well, I mean, who would you want in one game? Who would you want? He's like, they're all good. A lot of great qualities. Kozar, too. I couldn't decide. I wouldn't feel fair to say. And Letterman he's like, well, yeah, I just mean, who do you like better? Whatever. It's not, you know, and he wouldn't do it. And that is Phil Simms broadcasting, and that has continued for 15 tepid, afraid years. And I'm not saying you got to be bold. I got it. You work for the league. I'm not saying you rip players on. But he's not honest. And you got to be honest as a broadcaster. It's the only thing that comes across. It's the only thing that matters. Authenticity on the air, and he doesn't have it. At least I don't think he has it.
So, anyways, do you know who's in second place in the AFC East?
I think it's a three-way tie for second, right? Between everybody except behind. Oh no, the Dolphins are 3-3 because they were off.
Yeah, the Dolphins.
Yeah, but I mean, the Bills are a game out of first. I mean, if the Bills can, the Bills can manage to step up next week and beat whoever they're playing. I don't have it in front of me.
Ben with the newspaper.
The Monday morning newspaper, the best thing, the old school. Yeah, except it doesn't have next week's schedule.
So did you?
Yes, it does. I take it back. Of course it does. You know why? It's the Monday morning newspaper. The Bills are off next week. They'll still be 3-4. Yeah, how about that?
So you watched the Jets Patriots game?
I watched a lot of it. Yeah. I mean, I mostly watched the Redskins and the Jets Patriots were later.
Yeah, they were only one of two.
I forgot. I did not. That was one of the games I sort of didn't see. I didn't really see much of the 4:00 games.
Okay, because I was just going to ask you, for the sake of conversation, why the hell are they even using Tim Tebow anymore? Because it's just like they throw him out there, line him up at quarterback. He doesn't throw. I mean, it's like, oh, here's a 3-yard run.
Why is this debatable? This is not a debatable issue.
Why?
He's a horrible quarterback.
So why are they lining him up?
I don't know. Why did the Broncos think it was okay last year? But they went 8-8 and they won a division, and then somehow he threw the pass to Demaryius Thomas and he beat the Steelers, and he's a freaking hero. I mean, he can do other things, but if what you want your quarterback to do is throw, then he's terrible. And I don't think any coach going forward is going to develop a game plan where the quarterback's going to throw 6 times a game.
But he doesn't throw.
Right. Well, we know he could throw 6 times a game, but the Jets aren't going to throw him here where the one thing he does is throw. One time this year, because they're so geared for the run, it's like the Jets are setting themselves up for a Week 12 game against the Dolphins, right, Rick? Yeah. Where and they'll stack the line, and he'll throw, and he'll complete an 85-yard touchdown, and everybody will be like, Tebow! Start Tebow!
Tebow.
I mean, he's capable of throwing a pass. Like, he's better than anybody in this room, except probably JR.
It's too bad he didn't hear you. Hey.
So, anyway, that was...
Hang on. Do you think you're better than Tim Tebow?
No.
Yeah, but like he thought about it. Yeah, maybe. No, because I haven't practiced in a while.